The public is asking, though, what drives people to do this, and what can law enforcement do to stop it? Terror expert Brigitte Gabriel and Middle East journalist Lisa Daftari join us. Brigitte, first of all, what's the motivation? What's driving, what's the spark that's driving these young people who've lived in America, enjoyed American success, big house, nice car, engineering degree? What would turn someone like that against this country?
It is the ideology and the spiritual fulfillment, and it has nothing to do with anything material. We in the West look at material things as fulfilling. Once you have the big job, the swimming pool, you live in the nice house, you drive a Mercedes, you're supposed to be fulfilled. But that's not enough for somebody who is seeking spiritual fulfillment via the ideology. And this is exactly what is driving the rise of ISIS globally, not only in the United States. And this is the issue that we need to discuss. And the ideology is what is causing right now mayhem all over the world. And this is the one thing that we are criticized when we talk about, because it has to do with Islam. Now, while most Muslims in the world are not radicals, Islam itself as an ideology is a violent ideology, and it's about time we in the West start discussing this ideology.
So then where do we draw the distinction between the majority of Islam that you say is not violent and the radicalized part of it that somehow encourages this? How do we draw the distinction? How do we know who to trust and where we should be focused?
It's not constructive to go.
Well, go ahead, Lisa. Let's bring you in.
I was going to say, it's not constructive to call 1.6 billion Muslims across the world jihadis. We need them. It would be both counterproductive to marginalize all Muslims. We need to call upon them. It's a quarter of the globe.
Well, Lisa, let me then ask you then, because a lot of people say we agree, but why don't the majority of those 1.6 billion Muslims do more, particularly in this country, to point out the radicalized part of their religion, the people in their religion who have embraced their religion and maybe misinterpreted the tenets of it, but go out and kill other people, particularly Americans?
Right. That's why it is counterproductive for our president to put political correctness before national security and before the lives of American citizens. Those Muslims or Christians or Jews or Buddhists living in this country are all at risk when our national security is at risk. So when our president wants to differentiate and almost protect Islam and is now looking for a motive, there is no wiggle room in this case. Again, he was from a nice suburb. He was an athlete. He's a millennial. And he's not a lone wolf. Let's take that out of our vocabulary. Whether these individuals are finding ways to team up with whatever these inspirations are in Iraq or in Syria or in Jordan or in Kuwait, or whether those groups are finding those networks here or in Europe or anywhere in the West, the inspiration is there, the ideology is there, and it's time to call it what it is. And we cannot fight an ideology until we are ready to look at it and face it and to really go after it.
Brigitte, let me give you the last word. What are your thoughts on that, your follow-up thoughts?
Well, we need to at least start training our first responders about what this ideology is. Right now, President Obama has stripped all references to jihad, Islamic radicalism, out of all our counterterrorism training manuals. So as far as our first responders and those who are supposed to protect us are concerned, jihad is basically yoga. It's like Pilates for the soul, so you can be a better person. That is nonsense. Jihad is a killing ideology, and we need to start training those who are supposed to protect us by teaching them, if anybody identifies with jihad and start talking about jihad on their Twitter or social media, you need to consider them as a potential terrorist. And that's what needs to be done. What we are doing right now instead is providing our first responders with sensitivity training so they don't hurt or offend the same suspect they are interviewing, nor their family who could be potential terrorists. And that is nonsense, and it needs to be stopped.
Ladies, great, amazing points. We appreciate it. Brigitte and Lisa, we'll talk to you again real soon. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.